Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss pre-market video for Friday, December 20th, 2024. I am Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss. Happy Friday, everyone. Before we get to the charts here, I do want to remind you to go to pivotboss.com/flash sale for our holiday flash sale deals. There's still time to get a piece of this action here. 42% off my book, Secrets of a Pivot Boss, 20% off of Swing Trade Pro 2.0, our best single course training, and 20% off of Pivot Boss Masters, which is our most comprehensive training for Pivot Boss. We have a ton of great content here and great holiday deals. Still time to take advantage of these holiday deals, so please visit pivotboss.com/flash sale. All right, let's take a look here at the charts. We did have pre-market economic data come in. Core PCE price index and PCE price index a little lighter than expected here. We get Michigan consumer expectations and sentiment after the RTH open, and we've seen selling pressure come out of the gate. Here's the ES, and you can see how much selling pressure came out of the gate here right away from the after hours reopen, and really throughout the overnight and pre-market trade. A big time drop to new lows here, 58.66 for the ES. Already a high range day heading into the RTH open. 121% of average range, 78.5 points of range, and we're already back to the midpoint of the day's range here. Are we going to be able to see a fuller recovery off the lows of the day? If so, we'd need to really push through the current day's midpoint, and in the best case scenario, perhaps recover the previous session's low and close. That could develop a strong wick reversal buy signal, and it could also develop perhaps a G squat as well, one of these candles right there. If one of these develops by the end of the day, selling pressure could be over in the near term, and we could be looking at a bounce up ahead. That bounce could also lead us to the midpoint of the recent impulse move. So you have the all-time high at 61.63, you have the low at 58.66. That's nearly 300 points of range. We could be bouncing back toward the 60.45 zone. And if we want to be a little bit more specific about it, that zone is going to be 60.15s. 60.15s. If we can bounce back to 60.15 here, that's going to give us a new key range to work with moving forward. But again, that's a lot of ifs right now. The market really needs to recover back through the current day's midpoint and beyond. Otherwise, further weakness here with the current intraday downtrend that's still in play, we could still see new lows ahead and continue working our way downward. So biggest 1 week sell-off in a while, and that could lead to additional weakness up ahead. Are we headed to 5,700? This is something we talked about in the pre-market video yesterday. 5,700 is the FOMC key level from September 18th. That level right there is 5,725, and it is left unfilled. So we have a naked FOMC key level down there. Are we headed back to that level in the weeks ahead? So that could very well be the case here. Any pullback could be seen as a selling opportunity into that level down below. So again, still in a very clear downtrend right now. Still a bearish intraday price action out of the ES, and again, in order for this to become some sort of reversal type of day, we really need to recover the previous session's low and close. Shy of that, and we stay within a bearish bias into the weekend. Looking at the NQ here, very similar price action as well. This thing, the bottom fell out here in overnight and pre-market trading. We've seen this thing flush back to the 21,000 level here. Today's low, 21,006 half. We've seen selling pressure from the recent highs here, which was, this is Monday's session here, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and now Friday. Big high range month here, and the midpoint of this range is going to be 21,695. That's 21,695 right there. If this thing can reach back to that level, we have ourselves a new key range at these highs, and that could be very useful moving into the end of the year and into Q1 of next year. But again, shy of recovering the previous session's low and close, we're still in a downtrend. The intraday price action is still pointing lower despite strength a bit this hour, and we continue to work lower toward perhaps as low as the 20,000 level. We could be working our way even just shy of that 20,500, 400, right in that zone. The recent support here would take you right into about 20,003 and change. So can we get back into that zone? Do we drop a little bit lower up ahead? This market has been very good about bouncing back after selling pressure, but is this selling pressure a little different than what we've seen before? So right now, a decent bounce off the lows. This is a high range day today of 422 points, and that is 117% of ADR. That is plenty of range to stay within these boundaries the rest of the day. That's plenty of range here, and of course we continue to hold within that uptrending structure here. And so again, is this enough to get things bouncing back toward the midpoint and get ourselves a new key range? Needs to recover the previous session's low in order for that scenario to play out. Looking at crude oil, this one's down 0.75% right now. This one is also off the lows of the day, dropped into 68.42 a couple of hours ago and is now bouncing back up. It is currently at the midpoint of the day's range. This one right now, not the highest range at the moment, just 55% of ADR, but it's had some big high range price action lately. This is 55% of ADR and just 85 cents of range, and just continues to trade at the center of this larger range. Clearly building energy right now. This could look a little more like a compression like this as it builds energy and chops a lot near the center of this range. Eventually, we're going to get ourselves a solid breakout from this range, and when we do, it's going to be an aggressive move, and we could be looking at a rally to begin the new year here. So right now experiencing a little bit of weakness here. Anything into 67's likely an opportunity to defend. Again, today's low 68.42. If we were to drop into 67's, it's probably an opportunity to pick it back up into the end of the year. Looking at gold futures, gold right now up 0.7% right now. 26.26 is the current price. Inside day at the moment. Downward trend still fully in effect. Now, after breaking through the 26.32s here, the idea was that we head down toward the 25.40s, and that's going to be the key range low here. That's the key range midpoint, so pushing through the key range mid would open up the low. Right now, we're approaching that level for a retest from below. Yesterday's retest from below was rejected. Still in a downtrend, but seeing a little bit of a bounce back at the moment. Inside day, still a downtrend, so bears want to keep any bounce offered until proven otherwise. That rejection though could come in anywhere into the previous session's high, which is about 26.40, and into the 26.32 zone. So anywhere in here could offer an opportunity for bears to defend and rotate this thing back down. Looking at the YM right now with a range of 371 points, that's about 81% of average, so not seeing the type of selling pressure that the ES and the NQ saw, but still bottom coming out a little bit and breaking through two-day lows. The low of the day coming in at 42,500 right there, and we still have some more downside that could be seen ahead into, say, 42,000. This has been a very bearish month for the YM. You can see here it's already topped out at the beginning of the month, whereas the highs for the ES and the NQ came in this week on a Monday. That's when the highs came in. This thing had already been dropping for 2 weeks prior, so big time selling pressure out of the YM. It's been 3 heavy weeks of weakness for the YM, and we're now through the prior pivot low. That's the prior pivot low right there. It's breaking a trend line here. It's breaking through the previous month's midpoint, and that usually opens up even more weakness ahead, perhaps into the previous month's low. That's going to be right here at 41,791. So that zone could still be ahead in the very short term. And from there, do we return all the way back to the value pocket here of the 200-day moving average and year-to-date VWAP? That could be a target that's hit down the road. So there could still be more weakness ahead. Right now, this one not showing the type of strength that the ES and the NQ were showing. Still a downtrend overall, though, especially in the intraday time frame. And in order for this thing to kind of see a strong low, you need to recover the previous session's low and close and finish strong for the day. Shy of that, and we have more downside that could be ahead for the YM. Bitcoin here down 1% right now. This is the biggest 4-day pullback we've seen since the transition breakout move. That's the transition day there where it broke through 74,000 and opened up a new zone of price structure up above. Since that day, this is the biggest pullback we've seen. The 4-day range relatively wide. We're still overall within the bullish price structure. We're still holding above 90K. I mentioned before, a pullback as deep as 90K could be a buying opportunity. And a pullback as deep as 80,000 could ultimately be a 50% move to the 120K level down the road. So any pullback could still be a buying opportunity for Bitcoin, but clearly a deeper pullback, as deep as it's seen in a while right now. Can bulls keep this thing bid off the 92s? If so, we could be looking at a rotation back up within the range up ahead. So right now, trying to find a strong low. The low that's developing on an intraday basis doesn't look bad, but the intraday and the intra-week downtrend remains firmly intact until proven otherwise. Looking at ETH, this one had a bigger slip than Bitcoin. It's been seeing some flash crash type selling pressure. Yesterday, it saw some more today where it's really just getting crushed. The move has taken us all the way back to the 200-day moving average and year-to-date VWAP. So it brought all the way back to the 3100 level, which is value. And this is after dropping off the 4100 level. So that's a 1,000 point pullback over the course of the week. That's Monday's high, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So over the course of the week, this thing has dropped 1,000 points. That's a 25% drop off the highs in just this week. So a big time return back down. Can this thing find a low here at some point? And I've mentioned before, if this thing gives up 3,400, it opens the door to pulling back as deep as 2,800. Today's low, 3,107s. Is there a little bit more downside, or can this thing bounce back from the high to the low? If this thing can bounce back to that level right there, which is about 3,600, just above 3,600, that gives us a new key range right there. That key range would be significant for the next period of time. Again, a 1,000 point range right here would point us higher to 5,200 down the road. 5,200 would be in play based off of this impulse move. So can we reach the midpoint, or do we need newer lows down the road? High range day right now, 129% of ADR, and we're back above the midpoint of the day. So the low could be in for this market. Can it recover the previous session's low and maybe even close back above 3,400? If so, we have a good shot at reaching the midpoint of this impulse sell-off, which would give us a new key range and would point us higher toward 5,200 down the road. All right, that is it for now. We'll see how this plays out heading into the weekend. Again, please be sure to visit pivotboss.com/flash sale for these holiday deals before they are gone. Everyone have a fantastic weekend, and I'll see you in the trading room. Take care.